So welcome to my class. In continuation with Unit 6, we are doing producer behavior and supply. In the last class, I talked about supply and I just mentioned the determinants of supply. So what are the determinants of supply? Okay, what is supply? Supply is the producer that supplies its output at various prices. So it has got an upward sloping curve, higher the price, higher the supply, all of that we did. And we also said that there are certain determinants, one being its own price. Then we talked about, say, the objectives. That's another determinant. We talked about price of related goods, price of inputs. We talked about technology, change in technology, tax rates. So these are some of the determinants of supply. So here we go. I just want you to have a look as to what we did in the last class. This is how we talked about it. So these are the determinants of supply, and I'm going to talk about each of them, 6 of them, and I said let's learn it up as O P T. We learned it up as OPT. So O stands for own price of the commodity. Let's start. So the producer usually offers more quantity of commodity for sale at a higher price and less quantity of the commodity at a lower price. So the supply of the commodity whose price has not risen will not rise, whereas the price of the commodity that has risen, the supply of that particular commodity will rise. Clearly it means that other things being constant, supply of a commodity is directly related to its own price of the commodity. And we will be doing this relationship between this positive relation between price and supply in the next class as to law of supply. Higher the price, more the supply, other determinants remaining unchanged. So it is indeed one of the most important factors affecting supply of a commodity. So now we come to the factors that are other than the price. So we talked about, let's talk about the objective of firm. So we're going to write as OPT. So what is P now? O, another O is objective of the firm. Sometimes a firm may be induced to increase supply of a commodity not because it is more profitable, but because it supplies a source of status and prestige in the market. And similarly, a firm may increase production just to achieve the goal of maximum sale or maximum employment, or means capturing the market. Maximum sale you can talk about. So this is how the objective of the firm also affects the supply. Alright, so now we come to the next one. So we're going to talk about prices of inputs, which are known as factors of production. Inputs are factors of production. So if there is a change in the price of raw material and remuneration of factors, what are the remuneration for factors of production? Wages, rent, interest, and profit. So this also influences the cost of production. Rather, this does influence the cost of production of a commodity and thereby its supply. Now, increase in the price of a factor of production may lead to a fall in production of a commodity, that is its supply. So that shifts the supply curve towards the left. So that's what it is. So a producer may supply more of a commodity at a given price if the prices of factors fall. In this case, what will it be? Shifting of the supply curve to the right. So this is another important factor that affects the availability or the supply of a product. So talking about that, then we talked about price of inputs. Let's talk about price of related goods or price of other goods. So supply of a good is also influenced by prices of other goods. Now how is that? Now, suppose a firm produces two goods, X and Y, with its given resources. An increase in the price of Y induces the firm to produce more of Y good by diverting its resources from the production of X to Y. Why? Because producing Y good is now comparatively more profitable than producing X good. As a result, supply of Y good increases and its supply curve shifts rightwards, whereas the supply of X good decreases and its supply curve shifts leftward. So that is how. So I've written it out here, you can just see. So this is how we can explain how related goods, or two goods if you're producing, even if they are unrelated, if you're producing two goods and whosever price has risen, you will tend to increase the production of that product, simply explained. Okay, so that is prices of other goods. So we finished with that, and then we can talk about, say, T. So technique of production. What is technique of production? So technology, what technology is used, modern or traditional? So advanced technology reduces cost of production and that leads to more profit. Thus, a change in the technique of production that lessens the cost of production, increases supply of the commodity, and thus helps to shift the supply curve rightward. And you can also, based on on this premise, you can also argue that supply of those goods which are produced with old and inferior technology that will cause an increase in the cost of production, will affect the production, the supply. It will fall, supply will fall, and the supply curve will shift leftward. That's why efforts are constantly made by producing units to evolve efficient technology. The R&D is a very important branch of any production unit, the research and development branch. So this reduces the marginal cost of production. So under such conditions of falling marginal cost, supply curve shifts rightward. So that's how we can explain that a technological progress increases the supply curve and shifts the supply curve to the right. And then we come to let's talk about tax rates, or excise duty, or the tax rate. Now, government levies various taxes on production of goods. Now we have the GST, goods and services tax, and in that also they have several slabs for different goods. I'm sure you must be aware of that. Now, such goods influence supply because it adds to the marginal cost of production. For example, increase in the GST on a particular commodity will increase marginal cost, leading to a fall in supply, and the supply curve will shift to the left. So it means a higher tax rate results in decrease in supply, whereas a lower tax rate leads to an increase in supply. So let us just talk about what are the factors affecting supply. So these are, for example, we did it as O, P and T. So with O we said own price of a product, then prices of other goods. Then we are talking about with O, objectives of the firm. We talked about prices of inputs. Then we talked about taxes, and we talked about technology. So all of that, but learn it up as OPT. 2 O's, 2 P's and 2 T's. So sometimes you get a question only based on one. Like for example, you can get a question, a 3-mark question perhaps, that how does technology affect supply? So in that you'll have to talk about increase and decrease both, and how in advanced technology, how traditional technology, what happens.